Hi, welcome to Caribou Country Lifestyle. My name is Cheryl, and I'm going to be heading over to my orchard side of the property, and we're going to be putting up some netting to keep the birds away from my strawberries. These are the raspberries that I planted a couple of weeks ago. So far, so good. This one might be my worst looking one out of all the ones that I planted. And what I did was I just took some of these volunteer raspberries and then just repositioned them into here. Oh, here's another one that might not be faring very well. There's this one. It's got a little bit of green on it. And then this one is looking a little withery. But we have some really nice raspberry plants. Got lots of buds and starting to turn into fruit on here. And then this is my blue plum, and I did see some flowers on this blue plum, but I don't see any plums as of yet. But this is super exciting. So this is a haskap. And if we look under here, look at those haskap berries. Now a haskap is a berry that the taste is a cross between a raspberry and a blueberry. And look how elongated these berries are compared to the blueberry even. So that's one of my haskaps. Here is my other haskap, which it is just starting. The berries are just starting to ripen. And I've got quite a few ripening on here. And then here, this is my elderberry bush. And I would say that's probably about 7 or 8 feet tall. And if I come in close on this side, you can actually see the flowers, the elderberry flowers starting to form all over. So I think I'm going to have quite a good crop of elderberries. And then here's the little elderberry plant beside it. The reason why it's quite a bit smaller, it kept getting whippersnipped with the whippersnipper. So, and here we have our first strawberry row full of strawberries, and I even have some berries forming. So I have my hoops out, and I have my bird netting beside the hoops, and I'm going to be attaching that. And here is my sour cherry tree, and it is just loaded with sour cherries. I lopped off the very top branches so they weren't sticking straight up in the air. So this will definitely be more manageable as far as picking. And I also got rid of some of the lower down branches as well. Okay, first things first, we're going to stretch out this bird netting and just drape it over the row. It's a little easier if you have 2 people, but I don't have that option today. My husband is busy at a shooting competition here in town, so I am on my own for this, but it's not too bad. I mean, this is fairly easy actually. And I have a mix of metal hoops and hula hoops. I do like the hula hoops because some of the clamps that I have work better on the hula hoops as opposed I have small clamps too, so they work on the wire hoops, but I have a mix, so I like to make sure I'm using both, or I wouldn't have enough clamps to do the whole thing. I also don't have enough hoops. I got myself tangled up a little bit here. Yeah, I don't have enough hoops just to go straight hula hoops or straight metal hoops. I mean, I could get more hula hoops. They're definitely cheaper than the metal hoops, that's for sure. So now I'll just pull this over to make sure it's around my strawberry plants. And then I just have to pull this end down a little bit because I've got more on that side, so that I can clamp this end, and then I'll pull this around. I also went and picked all of the weeds. My husband and I spent a couple of days getting all the weeds out of this area, so there wasn't very much to look after. So I'm going to use these bigger clamps for the hula hoops. And what I do is I put a clamp and I clamp them right onto the hula hoop. And I keep it so it's right at the bottom, so that the netting stays down. And then when I pick the strawberries, I just take the clamp off where I'm picking, and and then I just lift the netting up and I pick my strawberries. So now I'm going to use smaller clamps for these metal, and they're quite a bit smaller. And I do the same thing. I just clamp it to the metal hoop at the bottom. I don't have to clamp it at the top as long as I have it clamped at the bottom. And I just make sure that the clamp is on the netting and the metal hoop, and that's what keeps it secured down. And then I'll go do the other side. Once I get this netting down, then I can hook up my sprinkler tonight and I'll be able to water all of this. It's pretty warm out. At 10:30 this morning, it was already 20 degrees Celsius. Okay, so now I'm going to do the same thing for these other two. So on the ends, all I do is I kind of bring it around at the bottom and I clamp it at the bottom. And that way the birds can't get in the bottom either. I'm going to do the same thing for these other two as well. Thought we would just try one of these since they're pretty much ripe. I have had like a Haskap balsamic in a dressing with olive oil at a restaurant, and that was really good. I've had Haskap syrup for pancakes as well. That was really good. And then my sister gave me some frozen Haskap so I could make my own jam. So let's give this a try. It definitely has some tartness to it, but it tastes wonderful. So I'm gonna have to come back out here with a little dish. I'm only gonna get a few, so they'll probably just be for fresh eating for right now, or I guess I could start collecting them and putting them into freezer bags like I do with my raspberries and my strawberries that I pick throughout the growing season. And I have quite a few strawberries and raspberries in my freezer from last year. So I just wanted to show you, I've got all the netting and the hoops, everything is clamped down. This one here on the end, I ran out of clamps. So I'm just gonna go and pick up one more package of clamps. I also wanted to show you what else I ended up purchasing today. I ended up picking up another clematis. So this one here is called Cotton Candy, and it already has a little flower on it, but I just wanted to pick something that was a little bit different from the other two, because the other one was a sapphire indigo, so it's going to be like a bluey color, and then the French one is really like a hot pink, and I wanted this because it was quite a bit different from the other two. So I had a rose plant here. I took the rose out, dug the hole down, put in some bone meal, and added this clematis here. So I think it's gonna love it in this spot. And then once I would like to get another clematis and put them around the corner, one in the center of each one of these frames. So I need 3 more on that side and 1 more for over here on this other panel. So super excited about getting these clematises. Super excited that the deer don't seem to like clematis. I had read that deer do not like clematis. So I thought I'd give it a try, but that also says they don't like lobelia, but it doesn't stop them from plucking it out of the flower pot, chomping on it, and then going, oh hey, I don't like this, and then it spits it out on the ground. How rude. So I also want to take you down at the bottom garden and show you what I ended up picking up. Replaced a couple of my squash plants that didn't make it. Wasn't able to find any spaghetti squash, but we will take a look at what I did find. I ended up picking up a buttercup squash. This is my poor bonbon squash. I don't know. It might still make it, but this was where the other bonbon squash was, and I pulled it out and put this buttercup squash, which is fairly similar. And then I got this kabocha squash, and I just want to set up my sprinkler down here at the end. I picked up another butternut squash. It's quite a bit bigger than the one that I had purchased the first time. Like to put my hose over that clamp so it's not resting down on my netting. So now I have my sprinkler set up. I'm going to turn that on and give all these plants another drink. Try and revive some of the ones that aren't doing very well. And water these onions after my cat went and dug them up trying to poop in these raised beds. Stinking cats. So I'm just going to turn my sprinkler on, and that's it for today. That's all I have to do. Thanks for joining me, and we'll talk again soon. Bye for now.